Yo, what's up? It's been a minute since I did a video, but I wanted to talk to y'all about music. We always talking about music and artistic arts and creative things and things of that nature. This is what I do. Me and some folk at work, we are talking about why I feel artists like Tupac, specifically Tupac and Biggie Smalls, Notorious B.I.G. are a bit overrated. Um, yeah, I said it. I'll say it again. I'll say it plenty more times. I feel that they are overrated. Biggie. I mean, both of these were great artists, and they did many great things for hip hop and rap. I mean, all the subgenres divided within hip hop. They did great things, and a lot of artists nowadays would not exist if it weren't for Tupac and Notorious B.I.G. But those two artists themselves are a bit. I ain't gonna say that they overrated. I feel at this point they have been surpassed. I mean, honestly, they were both they were both great artists, but Tupac wouldn't be as big as he is if it weren't for the fascination around his death, whether or not he's dead or not. I mean, he's essentially the Black Elvis. He wouldn't be so big, so popular if we didn't know if he really died. If we did not know if he was really dead, he would not be so popular. But in that same token, Biggie would not be as popular as he is if it weren't for Tupac and Tupac's death. Because as things went on, whether Biggie supposedly orchestrated Tupac's death or not, how things went on, you can't really think Tupac without thinking Biggie, for real, for real. So anytime we think about the legacy that Tupac left behind, we mentally, at the very least, we always attach the legacy of Notorious B.I.G. along with it. I mean, like, Biggie was a great rapper. He had classic cuts, The Warning, motherfucker, give me the loot. You know what I'm saying? How can you not? How classic is Juicy not? You feel me? Like, you can't have hip hop without Biggie Smalls. But I mean, if you was to really analyze their rhyme schemes are a bit simple. And you don't have to have complex rhyme schemes to have a good rap song album either. But it's at this point, I mean, come on, that was the 90s. This is pretty much 20 years ago. 20 years ago. Like, I mean, the art form, let alone the artists, have took what they did and learned from it. Hip hop in itself would not have blown up as big as it has if it weren't for these two artists. But as art is supposed to go, the people who learn from them are meant to be better than them. We learn from the artists that we love and adore so much, so that we can pay homage to them by surpassing them. Seriously, like the greatest gift that a teacher can receive is seeing their student succeed and surpass them. We would not be doing the art form justice if we hadn't surpassed them. I personally think, I mean, earlier today I was speaking specifically on artists like, well, Jay-Z, he pretty much put Brooklyn, I ain't gonna say put Brooklyn on his back, but I mean, you know, in a nutshell, Jay-Z surpassed Biggie. Other artists, it could be argued that other artists have surpassed Jay-Z. Kendrick Lamar, he seems like one of Tupac's biggest emulators, has definitely surpassed Biggie. I mean, has definitely surpassed Tupac. I mean, pays a tremendous homage to him by having a flipped around interview with him on To Pimp a Butterfly album. But Kendrick, I mean, like, seriously, Jay-Z and Kendrick could rap circles around Biggie and Tupac. Like, I mean, like, depth lyrically, I mean, flow isms and all of that. Like, you can't, I mean, like, damn, man. I mean, you could listen, especially even on some pro-blackness from Tupac. I mean, think Change, the Panther. I mean, you know, some of his more conscious poetry before he got all into the rap stuff. I mean, think Tupac Changes. I mean, Kendrick did To Pimp a Butterfly, a whole album on that same kind of black consciousness, and I mean, and did it in a way that nobody else has been doing it right now. Some people could say that. I mean, I saw somebody and I listened to it that said that Ice Cube's album, The Death Certificate. No, it wasn't Death Certificate. I think it was America KKK's Most Wanted. America's Most Wanted was like the godfather to Pimp a Butterfly. And I would say, especially in Kendrick's growing cinematic structure of his music, of his albums per se. Section 80 was an album. And it had some kind of theatrical elements. Good Kid, Mad City got played into it more. It felt like a movie. You going through the hood with him and everything. To Pimp a Butterfly took it straight to the stage. You know, it was like hip hop cabaret. But ain't nobody else been doing it like that. And I mean, like, come on, like, to a certain extent, you could pick one track. You could pick. I mean, you could pick one track that shows how deep, how much more depth Kendrick has dived into consciousness, black consciousness, and especially in the like wordplay and lyricism. It is, if you were to print out, the album, the lyric booklet for Kendrick, any one of Kendrick's albums or mixtapes, honestly, compared to Tupac's, a whole album by Tupac, like the sheet work, just the pages would be. I mean, Tupac's album would probably be half the length of writing as Kendrick To Pimp a Butterfly. Like To Pimp a Butterfly, like it's probably even less than half. I would even say a third. Like, I mean, you don't have to have a lot of words to make a good hip hop song. I mean, you know, but honestly, in the realm, if we talking about consciousness, I mean, to a certain extent, you got to, because it's all about saying something, saying it well, and saying, I mean, deep. I don't even want to use the word deep, but saying and talking about the issues. And I even feel like, I mean, some of Tupac's greatest and even most prolific conscious rap songs or whatnot never even really broke the light of day. I mean, there are other rappers that were, even at that time, that were more openly conscious about black issues and stuff like that than Tupac was. Tupac, his name symbolizes, and his history symbolizes, black conscious struggle and empowerment. His name, and his mother was a Black Panther. He wrote poems about being a Black Panther himself, and then let alone, so he got all of the philosophy. I can't even remember exactly what his name means, but Tupac Amaru Shakur. There was also the female Black Panther leader, Asada Shakur. I mean, you know, it goes on and on, but these artists, the greats have been surpassed, and I have no problem with this. I feel like this is what we should do. I personally have always looked up to poets like Gil Scott Heron, and if he was doing what he was doing 40 years ago, and ain't nobody ever surpassed him from 40 years ago, like Jimi Hendrix, if ain't nobody ever surpassed him for 40 years, then it's like it to a certain extent, it diminishes the initial artist himself, because it's like, what the fuck? Like, I thought I was putting it in a way that y'all could understand. I thought that I was giving y'all something that you know. I thought a good teacher is like, I ain't gonna answer the question for you. I'm gonna point you in the direction. I thought you wanted this knowledge. I thought you wanted to go get this the truth. And it's like, if the artist has not coded the truth in a way that you can understand it, and it makes them feel like, I mean, it would make me feel like, damn, maybe I need to go back to the drawing board. But I mean, these are great artists that we already look up to, that we've always looked up to. The purpose of art is, every son is supposed to be better than his father. We I always looked up to Jay-Z also, and I feel like, you know, other artists have surpassed Jay-Z, as they should. We learn from them, and we make our own moves as we see fit for the conditions of things in our life. for our goals with our life. I can't be Jay-Z. You can't be Jay-Z. I can't be Gil Scott Heron. Can't be Jimi Hendrix. We can't. We can take what we can from and learn from them. But at the end of the day, we still gotta do what we do, how we do it, as we do it. And to my fellow artists, keep on shitting on your heroes. That's what it is.